If you have heart problems, high blood pressure, heart failure, or clogged arteries, what you're about to discover could save your life. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal the 5 most dangerous foods that are silently destroying your cardiovascular system, and most people consume them every single day without realizing the devastating impact they're having on their heart health. Your heart is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to keep you alive, but certain foods are making its job incredibly difficult and potentially deadly. While there are foods that protect your heart and blood vessels, there are others that do the complete opposite, clogging your arteries and dramatically increasing your cardiovascular risk. The shocking truth is that some of these heart-damaging foods are marketed as healthy options, and the food industry doesn't want you to know what I'm about to share with you today. The first category of foods you must eliminate from your diet immediately are those containing trans fats, also known as industrially transformed fats. These are not just one specific food, but an entire family of processed products that have undergone industrial modification. Trans fats are created through specific industrial processes where certain ingredients are added during food manufacturing, fundamentally altering the molecular structure of natural fats. What happens during this process is truly frightening for your cardiovascular system. These fats become denatured, meaning their chemical bonds are modified and destroyed. In fatty acids, there are often what we call double bonds, especially in polyunsaturated fatty acids. And when these bonds are industrially modified, the fatty acids lose their beneficial properties and become toxic to your body. This industrial transformation creates substances that are far more harmful to your cardiovascular system than even saturated fats. When you have heart problems, doctors often warn you to limit saturated fats, but trans fats are exponentially more dangerous for your cardiovascular health. If there's one type of food you must absolutely avoid, it's these infamous trans fats. To identify foods containing these deadly trans fats, simply read the ingredient list carefully. You must avoid any product that contains the words hydrogenated fats, hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated fats, or partially hydrogenated oils. It's this industrial hydrogenation process that causes the denaturation of fatty acids and creates these cardiovascular destroying trans fats. Before I continue revealing the remaining 4 dangerous food categories, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now. This information could literally save your life or the life of someone you love, and by subscribing, you'll never miss crucial health advice that could prevent heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular emergencies. These trans fats are commonly found in margarine, chocolate spreads, sweet and savory biscuits, and countless processed foods lining supermarket shelves. You'll discover them lurking in ready-made meals, frozen dinners, and virtually every packaged food product. This is why I strongly recommend preparing homemade meals using natural ingredients, because at least you know exactly what you're putting into your body. Home cooking is much more natural, much more respectful of your body's needs, and infinitely safer for your cardiovascular health. The second family of foods requiring careful monitoring involves products high in sodium and salt. You don't need to eliminate salt completely unless your doctor specifically advises you to do so, but you must learn to limit foods that are excessively high in sodium content. Excess salt consumption directly increases blood pressure, and high blood pressure creates serious problems for your arteries and subsequently impacts your entire cardiovascular system. All excess salt intake is harmful to your heart health. The salt shaker on your dining table isn't necessarily the biggest source of sodium in your diet. The primary culprits are industrial food products, processed meals, and packaged foods. Pay special attention to bread consumption, because bread naturally contains salt as part of its composition, making it a significant source of daily sodium intake. Be particularly cautious of industrial ready-made meals, excessive cheese consumption, processed meats and deli products, soy sauce, pickled foods, mustard, and similar condiments that deliver massive amounts of sodium. You must learn to control and monitor your salt consumption if you want to protect your cardiovascular system. The third type of food you must drastically limit is refined sugar and products containing added sugars. The connection between refined sugar consumption and heart problems is more direct than most people realize. Consuming refined sugar can significantly increase what are called triglyceride levels in your blood. Triglycerides are simply a form of fatty acids, essentially fat circulating in your bloodstream. Excess triglycerides function similarly to excess cholesterol, dramatically increasing your cardiovascular risk and the likelihood of heart attacks and strokes. You must reduce and moderate your consumption of added sugars and all products containing them. This includes cookies, ice cream, candy, sweet desserts, sodas, fruit juices with added sugar, and countless other processed sweet products. These sugary products have a high glycemic index, which stimulates insulin secretion, and this process is also associated with increased cardiovascular risk. By significantly reducing your added sugar consumption, you will dramatically and measurably reduce your cardiovascular risk. The fourth category of foods requiring limitation involves saturated fats, particularly those from animal sources. While you don't need to eliminate all saturated fats, you must avoid excessive consumption and learn to moderate your intake wisely. The key is to limit your consumption of animal fats because these are the primary sources of problematic saturated fats. Meat products, especially processed meats and fatty cuts, contain specific types of long-chain saturated fatty acids. It's precisely these long-chain saturated fatty acids that are most harmful to your cardiovascular system. To give you a comparison, coconut oil also contains saturated fats, but these are not animal-derived fats. Coconut oil contains short-chain and medium-chain saturated fatty acids, which have significantly less harmful impact on your cardiovascular system. Be especially cautious of animal fats, excessive butter consumption, heavy cream, and most importantly, processed meats, deli products, and fatty meat cuts. The fifth and final food category requiring careful attention is alcohol consumption. The cardiovascular risk associated with alcohol is dose-dependent, meaning the amount you consume determines whether it helps or harms your heart. In small quantities, alcohol can actually have a protective effect on your cardiovascular system. This is particularly true for red wine because red wine provides antioxidants and polyphenols that tend to protect your cardiovascular system. However, when you cross into excessive consumption territory, alcohol begins having deleterious effects on your cardiovascular health. You must learn to moderate your alcohol consumption carefully. Perhaps no more than 1 or 2 glasses, maybe 3 glasses occasionally, but this should be discussed with your physician. You probably shouldn't consume alcohol every single day if you want to maintain optimal heart health. These are the foods you must limit or eliminate to protect your cardiovascular system effectively. My strongest recommendation is to completely avoid trans fats while learning to moderate your consumption of salt, added sugars, animal fats, and alcohol. By making these dietary changes, you will effectively protect your heart and blood vessels from damage. The power to improve your cardiovascular health lies in your hands, and it starts with the food choices you make every single day. Your heart has been working tirelessly to keep you alive, and now it's time for you to return the favor by nourishing it with the right foods and avoiding the ones that cause damage. Remember that preventing cardiovascular disease is always easier and more effective than trying to reverse damage that has already occurred. Every meal is an opportunity to either protect or harm your cardiovascular system, so choose wisely. Your future self will thank you for the healthy decisions you make today. Don't forget to share this life-saving information with your friends and family members who might be unknowingly consuming these heart-damaging foods every day. Together, we can help more people protect their cardiovascular health and live longer, healthier lives. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with more essential nutrition and health advice that could change your life.